Baptist College to Liberty University. 1992, Falwell endorsed this book by Chuck Colson, The Body, a book that encourages evangelicals and Protestants to join forces with Roman Catholics and which treats the Roman Catholic Church as a part of the body of Christ, so-called. In October 1995, Jerry Falwell praised Billy Graham in his publication, the National Liberty Journal. 1995, Falwell hosted a Promise Keepers Conference. That same year, one of the speakers at Promise Keepers was a Roman Catholic priest. Mike Timmons, a Roman Catholic, was one of the directors of Promise Keepers. A little bit later, in April 1996, DC Talk, hard-rocking DC Talk, drew the largest crowd in history at Falwell's University. Christian rock band. 1996, Falwell joined the Southern Baptist Convention. Here's the headquarters of the Southern Baptist Convention in Nashville, Tennessee, the headquarters. And in 1999, Liberty University became formally approved as a Southern Baptist school. By 1997, Jerry Falwell brought Integrity Music and into the campus of Liberty University to train worship leaders for the next generation. So that didn't take very long, about 15 years. And here is another BBFI church, very prominent, Bethlehem Baptist Church in Fairfax, Virginia. The Baptist Bible Fellowship National Meeting was held there last year, 2002. The pastor, David Stokes, wrote a letter to the church family this year and said, I'm sorry, I think this was last year. He wrote this letter last July and said this: with regard to dress and modesty issues, we enforce no rule on our folks. Apparel issues are of no concern to us. I thought about that, Does that mean, it says no concern, no rule. Does that mean Sunday school teachers can teach in their bikinis? No rule. No rule. Probably not. You see, we all have some kind of rule. We can either try to have Bible's rules, which are pretty strict, or we can have the world's rules, which are not very strict at all. The world has some rules of dress. I mean, when we went to the Vatican this March on a research tour in Italy, you can't go into the Vatican unless you're dressed right. And the statues and things in there are not dressed right, but you have to be dressed right. You have to be dressed right. Even the world has dress standards. What he's saying really is, we're going to throw away those old-fashioned kind of dress standards Christians used to have. That's what he's really saying. In that same year, he led the church to drop its King James only clause from the church bylaws. He now preaches from the New American Standard Version and the New Living Bible, among others. They changed the name of the church to Fair Oaks Church recently, from Bethlehem Baptist Church to Fair Oaks Church. Well, here is the church newspaper, Bethlehem, formerly Bethlehem Baptist Church, advertising last year their new youth director. His name is Rob Hoare. Rob is pictured there wearing a POD t-shirt. He's got his earrings and whatnot, but he's got his POD t-shirt there in the church publication. They say, well, what in the world is POD? Well, it's a rock band. The POD stands for, supposedly, payable on death. One of them said, I like Slayer and Manson. I like music with this dark imagery. Manson, here's Manson. Slayer. That's what POD said. That's not what the youth pastor said. That's what POD says. But the youth pastor is wearing a POD t-shirt. Not in any church I'm going to go to. Not so that he can influence my young people. You can tell me all day long how sincere he is and how he loves the Lord. I don't believe a word of it. Maybe he does. I don't care. He's not going to influence my young people, leading them toward the world in that way. No, sir. POD said, you know, everyone's free to rock. And they used a little curse word there. I'm not going to repeat it. When we go on stage, we go crazy. We're like 4 guys you should put in a mental hospital. Right. That's right. They said it. Here's a youth director in an independent Baptist church with a t-shirt advertising that kind of thing. And then you try to say a word about it and see what they say. Well, here's another example. Here's Temple Baptist Church in Detroit, Michigan. An independent Baptist church that goes way back. It was pastored by J. Frank Norris from 1935 to 1950, and then was pastored by G. Bishop Vick, G.B. Vick, from 1950 to 1975. Was the most prominent church in the Baptist Bible Fellowship during those years. Vic was one of the founders of the BBFI in 1950, was a president of Baptist Bible College. In 1990, the church got a new pastor, Pastor Brad, they call him, on the website. The church began to have CCM concerts in the early 1990s. They had Steve Camp. 1993, they start out with the more moderate groups, sounds. Had Michael Card in 1996. Michael Card, his music's not real heavy rock, but he's as radically ecumenical as you could possibly be. He has held joint concerts with John Michael Talbot, who is a Roman Catholic. And they have concerts together. John Michael Talbot says that he prays to Mary. Michael Card says doctrine is just not important. Denominational distinctives are not important. Here is John Michael Talbot with the Pope, John Paul II. In 2000, the church changed its name from Temple Baptist Church to Northridge Church. It's a picture of the church today, part of the church. The services. Okay. Got your stage up there, your lighting and everything for the show. This month, Sonic Flood will have a concert there. Charlie Hall in October will be there. And then Darlene Check will also be there this year at this Independent Baptist Church. And so this is what happens, and these are the changes that this music is bringing. It's not just music, folks. It's a whole lifestyle and philosophy of Christianity that is coming with this music. And I have one more point and one more warning about contemporary Christian worship music. And that is that it is confused about true biblical worship. True biblical worship has nothing to do with jumping around at the sound of rock and roll music. Nothing. Nothing at all. Look at Hebrews chapter 13, verses 15 and 16. True biblical worship is to give thanks to God and to serve Him obediently no matter how I feel and no matter what the circumstance. That's true biblical worship according to this passage. In Hebrews 13, verses